and welcome to Game Day. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs in Jacksonville. Aaron Donald, the #1 player, is voted by his peers in the top 100 list this summer.
It's a bad
He's going hunting for Cam.
Beat all the quarterbacks out.
Normally, the Patriots like to avoid drama, certainly in their own locker room. So you could build the argument that it's somewhat out of character for them to sign a hot air balloonist with recently unfrostbitten feet and an apparent helmet fetish who just completed the rare superfecta of Instagramming out a fine letter, verbally threatening his general manager in front of the team, YouTubing out a private conversation with his coach, and then asking for his own release on Instagram because he got fined and lost his guarantees over all the obviously finable offenses. But Antonio Brown is also one heck of a receiver. Like sands through the booming business hourglass, these are the days of our football lives.
We acquired the best wide receiver in football. I'm talking about an alpha male.
I'm here to be a surge of positivity and make guys better around me.
There was a cryogenic chamber mishap. In other words, frostbite.
Brown threatened to quit football if he didn't get his way on the helmet issue. Distractions.
Time for him to be all in or all out.
Fines from his team.
Antonio Brown screaming at Mayock, "I'll hit you in the face," took the ball, punted it, and said, "Find me for that."
Antonio Brown won't be practicing today.
He's not going to play Monday night.
I don't think it's too late to salvage that relationship.
Antonio Brown and the Raiders have patched things up.
He addressed the team, expressed some remorse.
We're happy to have him back, ready to move on.
Brown is going to play Monday night.
I'm excited to be a part of Raiders and see you guys soon.
Release me, Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders released Antonio Brown.
Following the apology, they still find him. For him, was simply too much.
Very disappointing in my career as a coach.
Conduct detrimental.
It's extremely real. Antonio Brown signing with the New England Patriots. Yes, actually, the New England Patriots.
Let's go!
I mean, it's truly stuff one can't make up. Mike Giardi is in Brown's new digs. MJ Acosta has had a front row seat for pretty much everything that we just showed. And MJ, you have the floor first on the reaction of Brown's release as well as quick pickup in New England.
Well, Rich, as far as the Oakland Raiders are concerned, they have jumped off of the Antonio Brown roller coaster. And speaking with several players during open locker room on Saturday, I'm told this team is as unified as ever. Now, with Antonio Brown out of the offensive equation, look for Tyrell Williams to have a bigger role and more snaps. I spoke with Williams, and he told me as a receiver who plays every position, he is always ready. I asked head coach John Gruden about the offensive attack now, and he said, listen, we never planned on throwing the ball to just one guy. Gruden said, quote, "That's not the way we do business around here." Also look for rookie running back Josh Jacobs to have a big impact. Jacobs told me he feels leaner and faster than ever. Mike?
Well, MJ, here in New England, they don't get to see Antonio Brown for week 1, not eligible to play. Some of the players have reacted on social media. Julian Edelman's already selling shirts heralding Brown's return or joining the Patriots team. So you have that equation. I talked to one Patriots receiver who asked to be nameless in this, but he said, "I'm really looking forward to learning from him. There are few receivers that are as technical and as good as this one." And I go back to something Bill Belichick said about Antonio Brown 3 years ago when preparing to play the Steelers and Brown. And he said the way he runs his routes, he gets right up on the defender, almost stepping on his toes before he makes a break. It's very difficult to cover, Rich. So the Patriots looking forward to adding that to their mix very soon.
And everyone just assumes it's going to work out because that's the way things usually go in New England, where they take somebody who had issues elsewhere and they come in and to New England and conform to the Patriot way and go win championships. Do you think, Irv, it's going to work out that way in New England?
I absolutely think it's going to work out that way in New England. I mean, you get released and you get to go to the best quarterback of all time and play in a system that he has mastered along with Bill Belichick running that whole organization. I absolutely think this is going to end very well for Antonio Brown and may even end up with him getting a ring here.
I agree. I think it's going to end up right as well. And a couple things that make me lean in that direction. First, when you hear people talk that know him personally, they like the individual Antonio Brown. heard different people talk about the Raiders locker room and how much they like the individual of Antonio Brown. I think it starts there. And the one thing that I've always known about Antonio Brown is he works hard on the football field. He is going to give you everything he has when he gets between the lines. I think those two things work extremely well in New England. Talented player, got the greatest that's going to be throwing it to him. I do believe this ends well for him. I don't know if it's going to be beyond 1 year because of some of this other stuff. And can he get that other stuff under wraps? But I believe this year it works out well, Coach.
1 year contract, right? This is a new system. The Pittsburgh Steelers system was different than John Gruden's version of the West Coast offense system that he just learned. Now he's going to have to learn Tom Brady's system and Josh McDaniels' system. Remember Chad Ochocinco? There was a learning curve that took place, all right? But visualize this, all right? Because I agree with you. Think about AB on that stage, confetti coming down. He's holding up the Lombardi Trophy, okay? If you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan or a Raider fan, it's just going to make you sick, okay? But that's possible. He's going to be holding up possibly the Lombardi Trophy this year, all right? Or he could be cut. It could be top of the mountain or he could be done. And one more piece of drama or one more indiscretion, like he's done at the other two places, my guess is Bill will say, see ya, okay? So if you ask, how will this end for AB in New England? I would say this, AB, I know you're watching. The answer is in your hands. It's in your hands. If you just play football, like everybody's asking you to do your job, I think it's going to end very well.
Yeah, well, you could say one of the things, Kurt, sure. we talked about. We talked about how so many big plays were made with AB and Big Ben, doing their own thing, extending plays. And I thought to myself, this is such a design, orchestrated, directed offense. Maybe he'll struggle in that. But then I thought back to Randy Moss. Randy Moss and Tom got into that hand throwing up thing, and I'll hit you deep. So maybe he'll find a little bit of that with Tom Brady also that he had with Ben.
Well, you could also say it's not just his hands, it's his thumbs, right? It's whatever hitting send or whoever's hitting send for him. And that's the one thing that I find it wild for us to even have this conversation that we could predict how this is going to end, because the last 90 to 100 hours of what happened in Oakland is so wild that people looking for answers are thinking that it was all orchestrated to get him out of a spot and into a place that is a privilege to play at, with a GOAT at quarterback, the GOAT under the hood, and an organization that keeps putting trophies in the case. The fact that he would do what he did in Oakland and get rewarded in this league by showing up there. And I understand that this might wind up on a YouTube video, so, I'd appreciate it if I had a close-up. No, I'm sorry. No, but what I'm saying is that this is all. You could say, Raiders fans and Steelers fans, or you could add 29 other fan bases to that, Steve. True. That so many people are out there saying, wait a minute, how does he act this way in Oakland, or at least the way that it's being reported he's acting in Oakland, and wind up with the defending Super Bowl champions in a spot where he could be rewarded by hoisting that Lombardi Trophy? It just doesn't compute to so many people right now.
True.
I mean, so that, and then if Gronk comes back, people's heads are going to explode. But because, want to talk about an offense, just would say about how it's going to work if it does work out. I can't even, because we're not even talking about the running game with Sony Michel and how damn good he turned out to be. They're loaded in the playoffs last year. Okay, so we're waiting for tonight's game between the Steelers and the New England Patriots. He's ready. He's been fed. His bank account's been fed.
We ready?
Oh, my word.
Zeke, put that out. We ready.
The drama in Dallas came to a happy conclusion.
My focus is on our team.
The future isn't set.
I'm not dealing in the market. I'm dealing with how to fit this team together.
Zeke Elliott, until he and the boys come to a new deal, he's a no-show at camp.
If I don't get my way, you won't get no peace.
Pollard your best negotiator with Zeke?
Zeke who?
Zeke's agent said that Zeke thought that the comment was, quote-unquote, disrespectful.
I've earned the right with Zeke to joke.
The Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott have agreed to terms, 6 years, $90 million.
I'm just really excited about this team. I'm really excited about what we're going to do.
Ian, you've got the floor here.
Rich, we are going to see finally Zeke Elliott in a football uniform on the field playing today for the Dallas Cowboys, but don't expect to be his usual full workload. Obviously, he was in Cabo, and thanks in part to our friend Marshall getting him in shape. He is in shape. He is lighter than he's been in a couple years, but expect about 20 to 25 snaps for Zeke Elliott just to make sure they avoid some soft tissue injuries. And they know, Rich, that things are a little different on game day maybe than they were in practice or in Cabo, which does mean you're going to see some of Tony Pollard, the young rookie, who they really like. He can take it the distance, someone they have a lot of faith in. But of course, it's only going to be a matter of time before Zeke Elliott resumes the bell cow role they are paying him so handsomely to fill.
All right, Ian, thanks. And that is what Jerry Jones said after the Zeke who famed line, is that Pollard is there to spell Zeke and be paired with Zeke and have a great season in that role. However, today, I want from you a realistic expectation from number 21 against the Giants today.
Well, and I, like you guys, thought maybe you give him 15 to 20 snaps, and I don't know how many carries that will be in those 15 to 20 snaps. But then when I went back and looked at the year that he was out 6 games and he came back, he carried that ball 24 times. He caught it another 4 times. That's a full load, 97 yards rushing, 21 yards receiving. That tells me Zeke is ready to run right now. That's what he does. That's how good he is. He's a physical guy. And I heard all the noise that Jerry spewed out about the young kid, and the kid was running well. But the reality is Zeke's personality and Zeke run style fits this offense perfectly. This is a physical dude that will run you over. Pollard's not that. But this guy is that, and that's what that offense is about.
Okay, so that's a division game. And then, of course, the rest of the NFC East is also playing each other, and that's where we find